Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Kate and I want to say thank you for pausing here for even a moment because I really appreciate being able to talk to people as I stitch. And this is an exciting afternoon for me. We're midweek and it's the 1st of July. So happy July, everyone. Whatever that means to you, for me it is a new month. I love the start of a new month, and my birthday happens to be on the 1st of a month, and so it always is a sign of beginning. Look at me, I've got the fidgets already. So the nest is my studio, and I like to do what I call a collab. It's really a stitch along or a just watch along really, but this is the 4th time that I've invited you, if you want to work with me with a specific project. So this is the launch of July, obviously the month, and I have named this month July Jingles, and you will soon get the idea of that. But before we start, I want to say that I hope you are well. I know a lot of us check in, and that's an important part of the process. And to my lovely friend Kat from New Zealand, who said, you know, she watches along and it's like sitting at the table. That is exactly what I want to be, sitting at your table or desk or lounge room or wherever you stitch. And similarly, I invite you to join mine. So I'm a lucky girl. Someone wrote that on my Instagram yesterday, and I am. I am blessed to be in a part of my life where I get to do lots of stitching and to be in the community more than I ever have. And yesterday at the open studio at Green Door, you know all about where I go, and I've met so many lovely people. My friend Kristen, who is Zoe's, there's a new name, Zoe's studio assistant, said, Kate, remember when it was your birthday? And I go, yes. And she said, well, I've got your birthday present. And I said, that was a long time ago. And she said, exactly, Kate. You know how long it takes me. So this is my birthday present, and from Kristen. I had to share it with you. Kristen is glorious in every way. Everything she does, it turns to gold. She is so talented. But she lately has been doing more and more of this cross stitch. She found, the story is, and I love how there's a story behind all our stitching. She found this monogram of a K in her mum's stash, I think. Something about clearing out. Anyway, it's French, and oh my gosh, I just look at it and it makes my heart sing. So whether your name starts with K or not, I'm hoping that we all have the appreciation of this beauty. So it's a pin cushion. She gave me the pins to put in it, but I don't know that I can put a pin in that. It's backed with the most beautiful orange wool and lined with walnut shell. So it probably can actually sit here in my corner. In fact, let's prop her up right now. I'm not going to put pins in today, but she's going to be in a place of honor. I also got a beautiful painting from my friend Sue, and that's another story I'm not going to show you there today, because this is about collabing and starting together, but community is part of all of that. So in this basket is a collection of things underneath that we're going to make with today. But to get to them, I thought I'd just treat you, because I'm treating myself. I have been hand dyeing, and I've still got more to do, but these are some of my new colors that I will have ready. They're not packaged up yet, but I just couldn't resist showing you, for my bazaar that starts on Friday, Australian time, 10 a.m. in the morning. So it's just something that I adore. I love doing it. I love sharing them, and yeah, to make you happy. So check out my bazaar if you are interested. I often get asked about what threads do I use, and welcome to new people, because I know you don't usually see, you know, it's hard without labels and things. So this is merino and silk 4-ply wool that I hand dye. You can use sock wool online, have a look at that. Or if you want other alternatives, just go to a thread store and say, I'm just looking for threads for slow stitching. And usually they have an array. Okay. The other thing I need to say is I said that we were going to make, in this collab, a pouch a month. You do not have to make a pouch. I know some of you were disappointed because you've got enough pouches. I say pouch because I love pouches. You know that. But really, it's a piece of collage. And just like I've got heaps of my bits here, like any of these, you can see what projects I've got in progress. I could be calling a pouch. Oh, there's my mum's ready to cover. Really, we're making collage. This is my pocket. Oh, that's handy. It's got some pins in it. So you don't have to make a pouch. But in the kit that I supplied blanket, and we're going to make together, and all these other little bits. And I suppose, as I keep talking about the future, on offer at my bazaar is the kit for next month. So the August, which is going to be August Adorn, you know how I love to adorn, it's going to be available on Friday. Very limited numbers. I limit myself to the size of the blanket and how many pieces I can cut out of it. So it is limited edition. So this was what I used for July Jingles, and I deliberately, for the first time, I cut enough to make a trifold. Now this one's got a few stains on it, that's why I kept it for myself, but it's all going to be covered up. So we are going to make together, I wonder if I could, I'll just put it on the back so you don't have to see it straight away. Oh no, wherever I go. Anyway, see, that's it doesn't matter. I've washed it since I bought it, so I know it's clean. That just didn't come out. Okay, back to the beginning, Kate. So if you have one of these kits, you will have this size, and you can cut it to any size that you like. You might want to make a big project pouch, which is probably what I'm doing with my mum's pouches. And the one that I made to go to Fleur is that size. So it's up to you. And if you're making at home, you know that you don't have to, there's another flower for you. You don't have to have blanket. Some of you don't like that. These are just ideas. See, I'm thinking that maybe I would like to not do a trifold, because I'm making my red roses are red is a trifold. Yeah, I think I might just make a really big one. How about that? If you want to make it a trifold, all you need to do is plan it out, and I've shown you, and others have shown you, fold it up to there, work out where your flap is, and know that you've got a front, etc. Okay, but I've made my decision. We're going big. So that's the foundation you got in the kit. So if you're doing this at home and want to start from scratch, find a blanket. If you haven't got blanket, wadding, or just canvas, calico, anything. In terms of fabrics, I always like to provide a whole heap, and the idea is when I curate, I just get a combination of things. So my approach here was to have a small floral, a bigger, hello bunny, I've got my treasures in there. This is a block print with bigger blooms, and this is really useful because for harvesting or as your bottom base layer, and I'll show you what we might do with that. So I've learned, the more I do this, to look for fabrics, whether they be thrifted or new, that don't have big wide spaces in them. Like the density comes from having lots of, in my work, comes from lots of patterns. That mightn't be you. I found this the other day and we haven't seen her for a while. This is my my East meets West nest with pockets on the outside. You haven't seen her for a while. She's out of Canada and I adore her. And see, same idea. Whatever shape, and that's why you don't have to make a pouch. Whatever shape you make, it's a similar approach. So we adorn, we add, and they're things that we can use. So I've just emptied that out because she's going to have things for the bazaar in her for photographs. Okay, back to this. Yeah, so I've got small floral, bigger floral, this one that I've shared because you see this in my work all the time and I've not shared this floral before. So if you bought a kit, you will have some of this that I use in all of my work because on this piece, look how much choice you've got. So that's in there, little tiny stripe, another bold stripe. I was feeling hot pink and fluoro, and some pieces have still got the hem on them. And I'm going to keep that because I like that as a thrill. So these are just all ideas for when you're shopping your own stash or putting some things together. Now I included this block print as a medallion. So let's get practical because I wouldn't, scissors would be practical but buried. Oh my gosh, you're going to die at the size of those ones. Let me see. I'll go back to plonking everything up. Okay, oh, there they are. Okay, change my mind. Stay on the topic. Okay, it's called July Jingles because I had this beautiful piece of Indian braid with these little dangles. And some people celebrate Christmas in July, and so I was thinking, oh, that's like a Christmas decoration. I bought this in March by myself at the trim shop. It's got gold wire, and even though these are different colors to what I would usually use, I just love the jingle, the idea of that. So that was in there. I've since raided some of my other little bits. So I suppose when I say jingle, I mean dangle. I shared this in my bazaar. Oh gosh, she's a bit twisted. In November, and I didn't have enough to include. But keep your eye out for fringes and dangles, and they can be on, you know, on old pieces of bags in thrift shops, hats. You know, just get ideas. Look, I'm saying get ideas from everywhere. This is off the topic, but I found this piece that I often harvest from. She's a hat headband sort of thing, and look at the netting and those flowers, enough to inspire. So keep your eyes open, and I know you do, for all sorts of treasures. So that's in there. I included some, and people will have different ones. A vintage flower. I kept sort of the dregs, not dregs, but you know, mine mightn't be the same. A little bit of that beautiful, you saw me source that, and probably other things in the kit. Probably that one, I think. So lots of different materials, and my wording was that you then need to add to it if you want to. So I'm going to use this as the basis, and since then I've been thinking, I have this gifted chenille that you've seen me, that's dangly, doesn't make a noise, and somewhere in my treasures I have a bell that I wanted to give one to everybody, but I didn't have enough. So a jingle jangle bell will be found and put on the end of it. But you know, we all know that we can put buttons and all sorts of things. So it's a story pouch. And hello Adelaide, I'm doing final organizations for you. So I'm doing this story pouch there and textile collage, and very excited in the home of Miss Rose Sister Violet in Gabriella's actual house. And I mean, surrounded by her fabrics, her textiles, her decor. Just incredible. And she'll be there. All right, let's get back to it. Put them in the basket. I had to put them in a basket, not a nest, because my nests, I have so many of them and they carry so many things that I forget that, you know, I would have buried this. So basket, it stands out. All right, where are we going to start? And many of you I know have got too many projects to be starting another one. So just keep me on in the background as noise. I do like to have some sense that a little bit of the front might appear on the back, and I tend to start playing from the top right hand corner down. That's just what I've evolved to do. I've forgotten to I've forgotten to trim that emblem, haven't I? So here is this very bold stripe, and proportion wise, the other thing I tend not to do is go in halves. I like to go in thirds. So here I'm going to immediately get 2 pieces out of this one. And again, I don't know about you, but my personal preference is I like stripes to go up, and I want to turn this into a frill. So I'm just going to make that one's shorter, this one middle sized, and you mightn't have this on yours. I'm sorry, it was only the hem wasn't very long, but because I've got it, I see it. And let's for the moment leave that lovely shaggy bit out there. So this is creative playtime. And when I share fabric, they're meant for cutting or tearing, but not too small a pieces. Start large, and then we grow from there. And using one flower at a time in mind, I think, well, that's a garden, and that's going into stripes, but over this stripe there will be something. So let's now go here. So Kat said that soon she would be talking back to me. So Kat, this is your chance to fill me in on what you're working with, and everybody else out there in YouTube land. I'm going to be quiet. Have a little chat to me. Talk to me. I need to say welcome to new people. Always a pleasure, and just come with no expectations. I'm here to keep you company because you keep me company. And I always get people say they can hear my excitement get bigger in my voice, because it's true. We all stitch, often quite a lot by ourselves, and then to stitch along with someone, and it saves going to a workshop. We can't do them every day. I've got this flower is unfinished, which I find quite quirky. So I'm thinking that she could even become part of a garden over here, just poking out rather than going the green. Oh, I moved the whole thing. I often get asked about, do you put your pouch together? Do you work it flat? It's up to you. I tend to lay out first and then just one side. That's all my brain can cope with to start with. And then, I don't know whether I included that or not, but I do like that flower. This is Indian. I might have some of this at the bazaar, I don't know. It's beautiful. One of the ladies was saying it's like huckaback, which some of us used to stitch when we were young, make patterns out of it. In fact, it's a good thing to do sometimes. Just cut some flowers, do some harvesting. And I would advise you to sort of stand up and get ideas, because when you look from above, you get that bird's eye view. All right, so already, this is very strong. So I'm going to take her off for a minute and just play with the interaction of, and can you see how this is a big floral and this is a smaller one? I'd forgotten I had this one, so she's going to go in there first. And then I'm going to go back to this one. And do a wrap. And this is such the beauty of collage and applique, that no matter what we do, all of ours is going to turn out different. So I'm going to hold that one off, probably for the other side, and I'm going to play with this other stripe first, because I often find that I get more confident after doing the first side, and then I work at playing both. Now you see me, I keep putting that in the center, which is unusual for me, but I'm liking that idea. And of course I have all of this, but you've seen me use it so many times. I wasn't going to use it a lot, but it's so beautiful. How about we do a little harvest? Often I cut, oh yeah, I will. I was going to say, often I cut off that dark flower. But she does actually go with this part. So in fact, let's just do a few bits of harvesting. I'm often asked, how close do you cut? I don't know, it varies, but my style is that we can make the flower bigger if we cut too short, or in that case the white will get covered up. We are aiming to cover the blanket down there. You know, I mustn't be in a stripy mood. They're going to go on the back. this one's just going to be garden time. This side. Now, if I'm going to put that emblem there, I need to be careful not to put a hero flower here. But if I look at it something like that, this could go over the top. All that white will disappear. Just don't worry. Flower to flower, join that there. And I've got these interesting pieces. And then I had this one that could become part of that flower. And as I tried very obviously to say, if you buy one of my kits, you get access to some of it. Well, you get the material that I give you, but I don't intend it to be everything, because you want to make a piece that's got your favorite pieces in it. And it may be that for this particular month, like me, you know, something like that hot pink stripe today is not calling your name, and next week it might be. So in the meantime, they can stay in a little project pouch nearby, or go back to your stash, or if it's something that you know you'll never want, donate it or share it. Yep. Let's just get rid of the white just to show you that. And in traditional approaches, this is called fussy cutting. I don't call it fussy cutting because I'm not patient enough to fuss. Now, I don't know whether I put that in there, whether that's part of the kit or not, but it goes quite well. Now, here's a big secret. You've watched me with that big piece, but it's not going to stay that big now that I've got the feel of what's happening. Let's chop it. And so we've got that beautiful piece, which I might actually like more for a corner. In fact, I do like that bit up there. And so this is introducing more of the flower to the flower. Let's put a little bit under here for a while. Save that for the darker side. It's a bit halfy, but if this comes over here, it won't look as half and half. So I want you to see that it doesn't, it's play, okay? It doesn't just come out perfectly. It's about feeling confident enough just to go, nothing matters, I'm not committing to this yet. And I just keep moving until I have a garden. And have covered up the blanket. And in a case like this, I would tuck those leaves out so that they can grow into, see, we've got green there. Doesn't matter that they're upside down. Got the orange up there. Maybe you could put a little bit of orange down here now. Same thing. My favorite sari of the moment. Maybe we need a pink garden in the pink flower in the bottom. So, another chance. Do you do this? Do you just have a good old play? And if you haven't yet, just start small. Give yourself 3 bits of material and see what you can cover. And then I call that the foundation. My first workshop, I described it as getting dressed. Put your foundation, which I think is your blanket, really. Then your clothes for the day, and then your accessories over the top. And for me, the accessories are about the adornments. Speaking of which, I haven't got my my beaded bangles on today, because yesterday at the Set in Love, yesterday at the studio, they said, have you got enough bangles on today, Kate? Because I was covered in them. That's starting to look like a garden. So you can be pinning away, moving around over and over. Sometimes I let a little bit of the original blanket show. Anything we need? Yeah, let's see. I've got the pink up here. We might introduce a little bit of blanket there underneath. And then that will be, where's that coming from? Oh, I knew that wasn't right. That will be a spot for some more adornment. I think I included some laces. I like the feel of that. And next time when you see her, I don't know whether to do it weekly or fortnightly. It will just depend. Because sometimes life gets in the way. When people look forward to it every week and I don't deliver, then I feel a little bit like I've let them down. There's that piece of lace. I like to layer lace and frills. And the dingle dangles will have to be the star of the show at some point. I've got every other dingle dangle. The other thing that tassels, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. That's why this one was here. Out of proportion, but you know, keep your eyes peeled for zany little things that you know, that can add to that, you know, opulent maxi. You know, I could embroider the rest of that in pink, but it's not right. Lots of things to play with. Even some crochet. Okay, I think you've got the idea, and if you haven't, I'm really sorry. But you know, that's the challenge of creating as we go. I think you'll be disturbed by all those edges. So in terms of stitching this and what next, sometimes I visibly stitch. Yeah, that's what I do. I visibly stitch because it's impossible for me to be invisible. And I go straight to colour because on a make like this, we're going to really show our stitching as part of the what are we calling them? Bold blooms. We haven't got a lot of bold blooms yet, but that's the next stage when we have our foundation fabrics and then we're going to adorn over the top. Yeah, so not so much white showing up. Now, if you're totally lost, tear little bits of great coloured fabric into flowers. Oh, see, there we go. I'm going to send out, I've had lots of people sign up to my newsletter since it's gone out, so I will update my lists at some stage and send those out. Yeah, look at that. So just persist. Layer your flowers over each other. Okay, I hope you've had fun playing in the garden with me this afternoon. I just wish if you were playing along, I could see what you were up to. And of course, remember, you don't have to. This is here just for company and learning. But I do hope always as a result, I'm just looking at this thinking, what on earth have I got that there? This is that beautiful French silk. This is obviously something I started to do as a mini make and didn't go through with. But this fabric would go nicely on this piece. So that's the other reminder. If you're not making a pouch or you don't have anything in mind, just make for making's sake, because you can harvest it later and put it in new spots and new homes. Now, I could have picked that up and thrown it out, but instead that's going to be, I've actually embroidered a few of those little flowers, and look at that. Before I know it, I've got a little mini garden that could layer in somewhere. I'm quite thinking there with that over the top, and then that can come around the side. The more you do it, the more fun it becomes. Right, I'll stop playing now because we've all probably got other things to do. Thank you so much for watching me. Have a happy week, and I'll actually be here again before the weekend. So don't go anywhere, but just keep looking after yourself and taking care of you. Until next time, thank you again, Kristen. See you next time. Bye.